Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie and welcome to this week's WIP and Chat. If you are new, first off, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. WIP stands for Work in Progress and Chat means I'm going to chat your ear off for the next hour or so. So feel free to pull out a project to work alongside me. You're virtually always going to see me working on diamond paintings here. This week specifically, I'm going to be kitting up my first drills and chills project. So it took me way too long to decide what I was going to work on. It is currently September 1st, and yes, I'm just now sitting down to kit up my project. I thought you guys wouldn't mind joining me, so we'll get into this one together. And yeah, let's do it. So this is called Autumn Treasures. It is by Marilyn Kazanave, who has what seems like an endless, bottomless well of cute animals in various settings for us to enjoy. This is a little bit bigger than some of the others that I feel like we've seen from her. It's 42.8 by 42.8 centimeters or 17 by 17 inches, and it has square diamonds. So I think this image must just inherently have more detail in it that needs that like size and square drills and stuff. I feel like a lot of her stuff you'll see in like the beginner section of, you know, the Amazon storefront or even Diamond Art Club's website, and it's usually like 30 by 30, you know, ish or whatever. But yeah, this is from a couple years back. It's actually a little bit of a throwback to pull out a kit that comes in one of Diamond Art Club's older boxes. They switched over to the newer boxes. It's been more than a year, right? I think. And so I just feel like my brain has really shifted over into being used to those newer boxes. And when I pull out an older box, I'm like, oh, it's so vintagey. So let me open this up. I did an unboxing of this kit. Hold on, I'm going to yawn. You have to let me know if I just made you yawn too. Apologies if I did. Oh yeah, we got the old school toolkit. You know what? I just dropped and bent a pair of my tweezers. So if that toolkit, if these tweezers are good and sharp, oh no, they're kind of blunted at the end. Okay, I was say I might, I could use these, but I wish they were like a little more stabby, just a little bit more stabby. We'll see. And then these toolkits, which they haven't come in these paper bags in forever, but it's like the old school style, like tray, minder, washi tape, wax, basic pen, and squishy. Sometimes in coordinating colors. But this is what I mainly need. So I have my sticker for my logbook. And sticker labels, I think, are in here. Man, yeah, it has been a while since I've opened up and worked on a kit from this older packaging with like the older sticker styles. Like everything about it, they changed. The stickers, the toolkits, the boxes. So let's see. Yeah, I unboxed this for Drills and Chills, actually, for a Drills and Chills weekly video a while back. And, okay, this is so cute. I love it, yeah. Okay, so we have drills. They changed the instruction sheets. And then the sticker sheets are different too. So this will work fine, though. Sometimes I kind of prefer these a little bit. But look how cute this is. Okay, so even though normally I'm like, this amount of green is going to do me in, there's a lot of color blocking in the background, which will help. But the main thing is this cat looks like my cat. Not perfectly. I don't know if I'm going to try to change this cat's markings to match mine more closely. I have more of like a traditional tuxedo cat, which this one is. Like, he's got the white paws. He has more of like a actually, this guy has a white mustache. And you know what? This one does look pretty close. So I might just leave it as is. Yeah, mine has more of a defined like nose, like white nose mark, and more of a defined mustache. So I don't know. I don't normally like to try to rechart things, but I might, especially because it's a square drill kit. So if I put any colors in different spots, you won't see the symbol behind it, like the color behind it telling you that I did it wrong. Okay. Let me kind of get situated. I'm saving this for later. I'm down to, these are Elizabeth Ward storage containers. And by Elizabeth Ward, I mean this style of container, which has been duped by multiple different stores that have done their own store brands. And like AliExpress has a version of these. There's just a million different iterations of these. And I have freely mixed all of them at this point. And these are the ones that it's like the trays have broken in some way. Like this handle broke off at one point. So what this really means is that I currently have 3 Elizabeth Ward trays that are being taken up and just causing me a headache when I go to kit up a new project. 2 of them are from kits I still need to film post reviews of, and the other one is being actively used for my current WIP. So I am just paying for how I have like fallen behind on filming those videos with these like lackluster tray situations, but it's fine. It's all fine. That's like my motto lately is it's fine. Everything's fine. We're not stressed. Everything's great. Great. Flirting with toxic positivity. No, I'm just trying to keep stress and all those things to like the most minimum of minimums. And it's, you know, it's working out okay. So let me make some space in here. Okay, I only have 2 of these kind of more medium-sized ones. I'm sure I'll need those. This kit is pretty colorful. 53 colors. How many of those are shades of green? We will find out. Probably a lot. But anyway, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to organize these slightly by DMC code because I kit up in DMC order. I know that some of you guys do this as well, and some of you are like, what? No, I kit up by symbol or by color family. And I will say that approach, being very logical about it, 1000% makes sense. Why don't I do it that way? Because something in my brain went, the rules are DMC order. And so if the kit has, oh my gosh, that background color is a lot of that green. If the kit has like less than 100 colors, I'm just going to do it in DMC order. I kind of get muscle memory for where the different colors are. It's not like a big deal. But if the kit has like more than 100 colors, then I tend to organize it a little bit more by symbols. Like put all the numbers together, put all the letters together, put I don't know, all the similar shapes together, put all the arrows together, all the corners together, that kind of thing. But feel free to sound off in the comments how you like to kit up your projects. Are you DMC order? Are you a little bit more methodical and logical about it? Like I said, the more methodical way absolutely makes sense, but I don't do it that way. And it works out fine. Works out fine. Look at this tiny little bag of this fairy dust color. Where even is that? In the cat's eyes? Yeah, like that's it. It's really pretty though. So while I'm separating these and organizing them a little bit, let me just say hi, hello. How are you doing today, my friends? I hope that you had a wonderful holiday weekend if you were celebrating I know it's Labor Day in the US, and so most of us didn't have school, today, which is Monday when I'm filming this, and a lot of people I know had off work, so we didn't really do anything holiday related. Honestly, we just had a pretty low-key weekend, which my kids were definitely in the mood for after their first week back to school. So I wasn't mad. I got some diamond painting done. Mostly I spent a lot of time on drills and chills related stuff, which, yes, drills and chills kicked off today officially because today is September 1st. And I'm always ready for it to be kind of hectic, kind of frenetic. And it was, but lots of really wonderful things going on about it. The stress didn't feel like it was the bad kind of stress, which we have encountered in some past years. This year, it just kind of felt like, yeah, there's a lot going on, but it feels like it's coming from such a place of I'm just excited. It's finally here. Honestly, I have been shocked in a good way again, but shocked by the amount of people that have already filled out the entry form and the amount of people that watched the kickoff video. It's beyond what past years have looked like significantly. And so my jaw has just been a little bit on the floor and been like, oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe it will really die down quite a lot, but I think this has the potential to be our biggest year yet. Mostly I'm just focusing on trying to put on a really fun event, put together some weekly videos that people enjoy, have the chance to really highlight and love on our sponsors, give away a ton of prizes to participants. We have a killer lineup of prizes, and hopefully just answer people's questions and make them feel like this is an event that's not like a huge headache to participate in, and it's just fun. And so I feel like so far so good for the most part. I hope that if you're participating that you're feeling that too. But we're definitely doing the best we can. Lindsay and I, it's always a little bit like, shoot, this event kicks off right at the beginning of the school year. We both have kids. We both have 2 boys, and our boys all have special needs. And there's, which we've both shared about, publicly on our channels and stuff. So I'm not like blowing up her spot at all or anything like that. But, just all of the busyness of getting into like back to school mode and all the prep that goes into that, like in the month leading up to like during August. It's just a lot to timing wise to have all of that happening on top of trying to prep for drills and chills. And I just hope there's things that we're not missing, or that we're not letting fall too far by the wayside, or that is being like confusing for people. I think we're doing okay, but like that definitely is on my brain. And I think we've done okay so far this year. I think we've done okay. And I am happy to be working on this kit. I don't know why. Sometimes with kits and with trying to decide what to work on, I get struck by a lot of real decision paralysis. I have so many kits in my stash that would work for this event, and I just kept waffling around. I knew that there were multiple different kits that I want to try to work on this year, but trying to decide which to start with was way harder than I was expecting. I have this idea in my head that I might work on multiple Diamond Art Club kits, and so I thought, well, let me start with the Diamond Art Club kit and then kind of alternate with other shops. There are 3 other kits from other shops that are not Diamond Art Club that I think I'm going to try to work on, that I don't know. I'm hoping that I'm not overextending myself in terms of timing. Some of the kits are small and I'm not too worried about because of that. But basically, this one is on the smaller side, and I wanted to start with something that was kind of fall-centric, which this I feel like is. I have plenty of kits that fall under the umbrella of Halloween, or even just being like, witches, or more like just not, I don't know, very, very cozy fall. And I like having a mix of both. So do I think this would fit in let's try this size. And so I was really happy when I finally landed on this one to start with. The other ones that I have in mind so far are, is it called 2 Witches? It's from Oraloa. And I almost worked on that one last year and didn't get to it. And I think I would really like to get to that one this year. I imagine that might be what I work on after this kit, actually. So I have that one. I have the Ghosts Doing Stuff chart to art piece from Diamond Art Studio UK, which functions as a cross-stitch conversion project, actually. And I would really like to try to do that one this year. And so that one is on my radar too. And then I have the Ghosts of Eras Past kit from Jaded Gem Shop. And that one I'm saving specifically to work on when Taylor Swift's new album drops at the beginning of October, because I thought it would just be really fun to work on that kit while also listening to Taylor's new album. I am a Swiftie. I try not to be. I always say this because as soon as I say it, I'm afraid that you're immediately going to associate me with some really unhinged behaviors, and that's not who I am. I'm a big, big, big Swiftie fan, but I'm not like... It's not like my whole identity. It's just I really enjoy her music and her energy and everything. And yeah, so I have this kit from Jada Gem Shop that I just think will be fun to work on during like when her new album releases. So, but it's also on theme because it's ghosts. And then I have a dozen kits from Diamond Art Club that fit the theme of this event, that it's just a matter of picking one that really jumps out at me. And I don't know, like if Diamond Art Club might at some point do a Halloween drop like they did last year, then like I want to leave space for if one of those kits just leaps out at me and is like, I need to work on this kit right away. That happens sometimes. It's happened more than once this year. I'm looking at you, Hades and Persephone from Chrysabug and Eros and Psyche. Oh no, it was called Underworldly Romance, not Hades and Persephone. Those were the characters in it. But yeah, those two like Chrysabug mythological couples were kits that I just had to work on right away. So I'm just thinking, like, if there is a Halloween drop, then who knows? There could be a kit in the mix there that I feel like I need to work on. So I want to save space. And heck, even not necessarily Diamond Art Club. What if there's another small shop that comes out with a really cute seasonal kit that I want to work on? So leaving some room for spontaneity is what I'm doing. But the past several days have just kind of been going around in circles, looking at the different kits, taking screenshots of the ones in my gems flow that catch my eye, and I think maybe I want to work on that one. No, maybe I want to work on that one. And then finally today I was like, it's the first day of Drills and Chills. I want to kit up a project and start working on it. And this was ultimately the winner, mostly because I was just staring at my cat at the time. I do have a tuxedo cat named Skip. He's a few years old now. We got him a few years ago as a kitten, and we always say that my oldest son Connor just manifested exactly the kind of cat that he wanted. We had spent all this time telling him, I mean, we took like over a year to decide that we were going to actually adopt a cat. And Connor just had this very specific idea in his head of what having a cat was going to look like, how this cat was going to behave, how Connor was going to be able to interact with him and everything. And we had spent a fair amount of time trying to just sort of prepare him for, you can't control what a pet's personality is going to be like. And so sometimes cats aren't necessarily might not want you to hug them or pick them up. Or I don't know, just might not be exactly what you're picturing, basically. And wouldn't you know that the cat that we adopted, who was the last kitten left at the shelter when it was our turn there, ended up being just exactly what Connor had in his head, just exactly what he expected and wanted from a cat. So Skip has just been the absolute best cat, and we love him a lot. But I don't know, I'm sorry if you see this scratch. Hopefully you're far enough away. It's not like a big old distraction. But I fell for the danger belly the other night. He normally is just super chill and loves pets and does the cute little air biscuits and the big stretch, and he rolls onto his back. And he does want you to pet his belly, but he's a very stereotypical cat in that it's he loves it until he doesn't. And when he doesn't, he's gonna let you know. And so I was pushing it. I knew I was pushing it. I was I think he might be about done, but he was giving me some mixed signals, and then he decided he was done and he got me. So it's fine, but I was a little bit asking for it, but also it's ouch. Go. Get some Neosporin on that. But no, he's such a love. He likes to sleep. We joke and say you're the chosen one, whoever he decides to cuddle up to at night. It's very, very sweet. And he's great with our puppy. They get along so well. It's very much like a sibling relationship where the puppy is absolutely the exuberant younger sibling that annoys the older sibling, and the older sibling does the long suffering, yes, I love you, but oh my gosh, can you just calm down? It's totally that energy. I'm so happy that they get along so well, though, because you never know, right? When you bring a new pet into the house, how's it gonna go? And we've had Scout for a few months now, and it could not have gone more smoothly. It really couldn't have, and so I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. So anyway, long story short, the reason I picked this kit was because I was just feeling oh, my cat. I don't think there's been a kit that's really come out from Diamond Art Club or any other company that looks quite enough like Scout, our dog, for me to get. But I'm keeping an eye out. There was a kit in voting a few months back that really, really looked like Scout. It was one of those ones that is by the artist, is Asia Trier, who does basically variations on Starry Night and does a lot of different animals and stuff. And there was a dog one that was in voting that the markings, the white with the brown spots, looked just remarkably like Scout. And I was I don't know if maybe I voted for something from this artist once or twice, but this one I did vote for. I don't know if it made it through voting. I guess we'll find out, but that would be a dog kit that I would actually pick up. So we'll see how long this one takes. Normally, I see this amount of green and I'm like, ew, not a fan. Especially because it's usually in the context of landscapes. And yeah, I know how I feel about landscapes, right? And so, we'll see how I feel once I actually get into it. I'm hoping, again, like, because there is a lot of color blocking and it is just generally a smaller kit, that it's not going to drive me nuts. But I'll keep you posted. You'll know. I will tell you for sure how it's going. I am still working on Cave Dragon, which I kitted up with you guys last week in my WIP and Chat. So I know you're getting 2 kit up videos in a row. Some of you guys, I think, love kit up videos. Some of you, I think, maybe would prefer seeing actual diamond painting. I try to do a mix. This, just timing wise, is what worked out. But I'm really enjoying Cave Dragon a lot. It's from Diamond Painting Shop spelled SHOPPE. It's a licensed piece by the artist Jan Patrick Krasny. Let me tell you what, I am loving that kit. I'm loving working on it. I'm just over halfway done with it, and I cannot believe how much I'm enjoying working on this kit. I was worried, thinking that, this color palette, is it going to burn me out? There's lots of golds and browns and stuff in the bottom. I could not put this kit down, and I cannot exactly pin down why, but I am loving working on that kit. It's so much fun to work on. A big part of it is that the quality is 100% there, and I remember this from the last Diamond Painting Shop kit that I had done, which admittedly was a few years ago. But they have acrylic round diamonds. Those diamonds, I'm like, these are good acrylic rounds. Like, the quality on these is great. They're really easy to diamond paint with. And like, the symbol clarity and the glue are fantastic. And I'm really enjoying the rendering a lot. I'm very much like, what's not to like about this kit? I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it quite a lot. So it's just over halfway done. I knew I wouldn't finish it before Drills and Chills started. It's completely fine. What I'm going to probably do is just have it going kind of in the background and alternate it. Since it has round drills, it'll be a nice kit to take a break from square drill kits like this one on. And so it's like, I'll probably work on a few sections of this one and then hop over to work on Cave Dragon, do some round drills, and, go back and forth. And eventually I'll finish that one. My goal will be to finish Cave Dragon before the end of, sorry, my hair just came out of my hair tie and it's too hot for that. My goal is going to be to finish Cave Dragon by the end of September, and then I'll probably start another non-event kind of project in October to have going on alongside. That's one of my ways that one of the things that I do to really try avoid burning out on doing and hosting events. It helped a little bit last year. Last year during Drills and Chills is when I finished my huge, ridiculous cross-stitch conversion project, which it's a thing. Now it's turned into a thing. I have not filmed a freaking post review for that kit yet. Now it's totally 1,000% a mental block. And I don't know how to go back to it and revisit it. But I would like to do that post review. I spent a lot of time working on that project. I would like to share about it. But it just has turned into a mental block, and I'm trying to figure out how to kind of get past that and actually do a review video for that particular kit. Yeah, someday we'll get to it. But that was a kit that I worked on kind of alongside Drills and Chills related kits, and it was nice to have something non-event related to go back to when I wanted a little breather. You know what else I noticed though when I was hopping over to my Instagram is that since Drills and Chills last year, the end of Drills and Chills last year, I've only posted on my Instagram less than 10 times. I used to be so incredibly active over there. And I hit a point where there was a lot of stuff, I don't know, things were just taking up more time in other areas of my life, things like my personal life and even YouTube and stuff. I just found myself spending more time in those kinds of areas and just not feeling as big of an urge to get back to Instagram and post regularly there. And every once in a while I'm like, oh, I miss it. Let me try to get back to it a little bit more. And it's like, I'll do one post and then maybe another post a week later, if that. And then it's, months before I do a post again. So, I don't know. I'd like to be a little bit more active over there again, because that was a place I loved really keeping up with a lot of other people's projects. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of out of that habit right now, but I don't know where I was going with that. I think just sharing progress updates. Oh, looking back at some of the drills and chills projects I worked on last year, it was a fun variety of kits, but yeah. And then Cave Dragon. Oh, I was talking about going back and forth between other projects, but yes. So drills and chills has officially kicked off. Like I said, I was pretty happy with how my kickoff video came together. It was one of those where I thought, you know what, this could be a fun video to do face-to-face. I've been experimenting with that in general a lot more on my channel this year, where some of these videos I'm enjoying doing as like a face-to-face video instead of as just an overhead. And I have to say thank you. I've said it before, but I just have to say it again. One of the reasons when I started my diamond painting channel, I did exclusively overhead videos, was because while I understood that seeing a face is a lot nicer for making connections with people, like people that are watching your channel, like easier for you guys, easier for me, I was just so self-conscious and concerned that, I don't know, it was one of the things where I was really concerned that I would be opening myself up to people making comments about my appearance. And whether that was like honestly, my weight was one of the things I was most concerned about, or just like any number of things. So I was like, I'm just not, why would I open myself up to that? Like diamond painting kind of videos, that completely makes sense to just do overhead. And that's how I did it for a long time. And then I was, building confidence over time with I do weekly vlogs for my Patreon and YouTube memberships members, which I do have those with some perks available if you're interested in supporting my channel. And so weekly vlogs are kind of one of the main things that I do there. And I'm virtually always showing my face for those. It's a lot of like chatting when I'm in the car and stuff, or just sitting down at my kitchen table and popping up my phone on my stand and just chatting. And that helped build some of my confidence with just chatting on camera in that way. And so this year when I decided to play around a little bit more with doing more just like face-to-face videos, I don't know, it felt like it was a nice like natural transition in a lot of ways, but there was still just that tiny part, a little voice in the back of my head that went, but what if? And would you believe, I have not had a single comment about my appearance on any of my videos that I have done face-to-face time on. And I don't know. I try really, really hard, generally speaking, to believe the best of people, and especially like you guys that are watching my videos. And it's just really nice when I see that fulfilled. So thank you. You guys are great. I really appreciate that a lot. And anyway, so my Drills and Chills kickoff video was a face-to-face video, and that was I just had fun doing it. It feels a lot less stressful now. It's like once you kind of practice it a thing enough, it feels less and less intimidating over time. I poked my head into, was it Shay's live? I poked my head into a couple of live streams earlier. I was just on a kick, and I had my kids being pretty chill and stuff. So I briefly popped my head into Kara, the Principal Painter's live, she usually goes live on Mondays, as does Laura from Anxiety Art Adventures. And then Shay from Crafting with Shay did a pop-up live stream that I poked my head into. Anyway, there were a couple people in there that have channels. They were talking a little bit about how they have a hard time doing like WIP and Chats or lives. I think it was WIP and Chats, because they don't like listening back to their own voice. They don't like having to listen back to edit it. And I completely understand. That's how I was when I started. And it's one of those things that now it doesn't bother me. It's just kind of one of those things. It's like, oh, it's just part of the process. So if you're one of those, whether you have a channel or you're thinking about starting a channel, and if one of your Hang-ups are one of the things you have a hard time with is listening to your own voice and feeling like, oh, this is just so cringe. Can I just very gently encourage you to like power through it and do it anyway? I promise it gets easier. You get completely desensitized to it, and then it's not a thing anymore. I mean, that's how it is for me. That might not necessarily be how it is for you, but just I was in your shoes where it was really cringe for a bit, and then it got easier and easier and easier, and now it's like it's not distracting to do, most of the time. But yeah, just lots of encouragement if you're thinking about starting a channel, but feeling self-conscious or feeling like, there's various parts of it that you're just worried. It's a lot of it is just practice. Like getting started is the hardest part. And then just kind of just practicing and gradually trying out new things, seeing like, oh, maybe I could do this and see if I like it better, and being okay with like, sometimes you're just not going to like the decision that you made. Sometimes you're not going to like how a video turns out, or you're going to try something new and you feel like it flops, or you don't get, a lot of views on it. And it's like, yeah, that sucks. But like, you can try to like learn from it and, keep pushing. Sometimes I'm really good at taking my own advice in this, and sometimes I'm not. So I'll own that. But I don't know, just if you're someone that needed a little bit of encouragement or a little bit of a push, I guess I just felt inspired to try to give that to you today. So yes, I was talking about drills and chills, showing my face in the kickoff video, and just generally being blown away by the response to that video. I am going to try to go through, and I just thought, okay, start of a new month, started drills and chills. Maybe I can use this as a fresh start to try again with getting into a habit, into a routine of responding to your comments. I appreciate so much how many of you guys will say like, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Don't stress, whatever. I really do appreciate that you say that. But at the same time, this is something that I want personally to get better at. And it's part of my overall, there's a lot of reasons. A lot of it is I struggle with executive dysfunction quite a lot. And to the point that in my talk therapy appointment this past week, I just was part venting, part like, help me figure out like how I can tackle this with my therapist, all about just executive dysfunction and how much I feel so frustrated by it. And how sometimes I feel like it's just get over it and just get it done. And sometimes it feels like, no, this is like a really genuine struggle or whatnot. And then I go, but no, it's a first world problem. And then I go, but no, your struggles are valid. So it's that kind of thing. So talking to my therapist, just being like, okay, let's are there some tools? Like, do you have some suggestions? Can we unpack where this is coming from? So we're going to get into it a little bit more. But one of the ways that really does manifest is just being responsive, whether that's to emails or to comments on my videos. And it's really important to me to try to get better about this. And so I've been on it with emails. Actually, I got all the way caught up, I think, for the most part, on the emails that are related to my channel for that email address. And I've tried to stay caught up on it today with all the drills and chills stuff that has come in. Partly because I'm if I fall really behind on this, I'll never dig my way out of this hole. And I don't want to put people in that position that have questions or, are making sure that they got their photos in and stuff like that for the entry form. So that at least has been going well. But yeah, executive dysfunction, it sucks. Does anyone else struggle with it too? I think it's really common to struggle with if you are neurodivergent, really common if you have ADHD or are autistic, which I am in the second camp there. So you guys, you're doing great. Okay. We're all doing the very best we can. Life is hard. The world is hard. Lots of stuff is hard right now. And your best is enough. I have said it before. It might sound cheesy. It might sound like a broken record, but I mean it. And I know that there is someone out there that needs to hear that reminder today. And so I am telling you, please be kind to yourself. You are doing wonderfully and your best is enough. And just, yes, please be kind to yourself. Okay. Where is 898? Did I stuff it? Where? Oh no, don't tell me I'm missing a color. I would cry. Oh no, I put it in here and I just didn't put the label on. Whew, dodged a bullet there. I was like, no, don't tell me I'm missing a color. Now that DAC, they'd send me replacements, but I don't want to have to deal with it. I just want to get up this kit and go. I don't want to wait on the mail. Okay, let's talk more about what's been going on in life, what we've been up to, because it has been an eventful week since we last talked. Like I said, we had a very quiet, chill weekend at home, very uneventful, which was really, I appreciated it, because that first week back at school is an adjustment. For the kids, of course, obviously, primarily, but also, look, we've been so spoiled this summer. My kids are now at an age where they are 7 and 10. They're at an age where like they can get up in the morning and they can get their breakfast. They're pretty self-sufficient. They can do their own thing. And so I've been able to sleep in the mornings. It's been glorious. It's been wonderful, even though I've also been trying to be a good human being and take care of myself and back my sleep schedule up, because I am a night owl. I could stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, easy, every single night. But then I'm not wanting to get out of bed until 10 or 11. That's just not what I want to be doing. It's not how I want to be spending my time. I don't feel like it's sustainable. Really doesn't work very well when my kids are in school and we have to get up for school at 7 o'clock. And even if I go back to bed after taking them to school, it takes me a little while to like wind back down to go back to sleep. And I ultimately end up losing a whole chunk of time while they're at school that I would like to be spending differently than that. So that has been a little bit rough, even though Adam and I have been trading off who gets up with them so that we're not both sleep deprived and we're both trying to work on our sleep schedules. It's like, this is one of those forever a work in progress. Like I was working on this a year ago when they went back to school. And it's still an issue now. Like what we're trying, we're working on it. We're trying. And yeah, so the sleep situation, the new kind of schedule of when we have to get up in the morning, that's an adjustment for us. And then of course for the kids, it's like new teachers, new classmates, just getting back into the routine. They're both at the same school they were at last year. Micah actually has the same teacher, though she is still on maternity leave. So it's a long-term sub who is a different long-term sub than they had at the end of this last school year and for summer school. So his long-term sub, like that's a new teacher in that sense. I like her. I have a pretty good first impression of her. She has been really communicative. I've gotten the chance to touch base with her when I picked Micah up each day after school. She's been really on board with some different things that we've been working hard with Micah on, just like with some of his delays and developmentally. She and the aides in the class have been great this first week of school so far. There are some of the same aides that were in the class last year that Micah knows and absolutely adores. It was very sweet. Last Monday, we got to go in for a meet and greet. We got to see the main teacher. She came in for the meet and greet, even though she is on maternity leave from actual teaching. She came in, we got to talk to her and meet the, long-term sub. The aides were in there and every single one of them were like, Micah, and open up their arms to him, and he would just light up with the biggest grin and be like, Mrs. So-and-so, and run into their arms and give them the sweetest, biggest hug. And my heart was so full. It was just like a big sigh of relief again. If you were around in the spring, like earlier this year, you would have heard me talk quite a lot about what I referred to as the misadventure school and the absolute cluster that was trying to move Micah over into graduate him up into a slightly different program, and it was a different school. It crashed and burned epically, unfortunately, and I have been nothing but relieved since we subsequently moved back to our homeschool and this classroom, and they're going to find some other ways to kind of meet Micah's needs in terms of his academics. That's really where it was. They were his academics, he's really pretty darn close to being on track with a gen ed class in terms of his academics. And so they're looking at some ways that they can start doing little bits of mainstreaming here and there, but at this school, in this setting, where his main class and his situation is one that meets his developmental and behavioral needs, but then it's we're also challenging him academically, which is something he needs because he's like getting bored, and he loves learning. Like he wants to learn, he wants to be challenged. And so finding ways to meet that need, but in this setting that is much, much, much healthier for him. Yeah. And so I'm so happy we're still at our homeschool, and that he seems to be clicking pretty well with this long-term sub, and that, it's familiar faces with the aides and whatnot. Connor has a brand new teacher this year, and she is actually also new to the school this year. So she's not someone that I was familiar with before. He said he was really nervous. He had definitely had some of those first day of school jitters because he wasn't sure, was he going to like his new teacher? Were any of his friends going to be in his class this year? Because they don't find out who their teacher is going to be until like literally 12 hours before. Like the night before at dinner time, they're sending out those teacher assignments. And so, and then it was kind of the next morning, because I don't necessarily have, text numbers for all the kids that like he's friends with in school, but it was like waiting to see when we took him in on the first day, like, okay, who is going to be in his class? As it turns out, one of his besties is in his class, and he gets to sit next to her in the class, and they're both so happy that they're in class together, and my heart is so happy for that too. He also, when I asked, like, so what do you think of your teacher this year, just each day would come always home and say, oh, she seems really nice, I like her. And so I, just like with Mike, it's like, I hope that this sticks and this is how it goes, but not a shabby way to start out the school year. Not a shabby way to start out the school year at all. I'm really happy with how this first week went. Now, whether you're a parent of neurotypical or neurodivergent kiddos, you probably also know that like going back to school is what we call a transition in terms of like, it's a big change in routine and how our days are looking and that sort of thing. And often transitions are really hard for some neurodivergent kiddos. And historically with my kids, transitions are hard. There's usually like a 1 to 2 week kind of honeymoon period where there's a little bit of toughness, but we get through it fine. And then there's a big like kind of dip where it's like the novelty is worn off, and it's like it's almost like a sleep regression, from the baby days or something like that. And then it levels out. So it's like, I feel like we're kind of in that like novelty stage a little bit right now, even though there have been some like, there's a little bit of an emotional crash from the kiddos like this past weekend, just a little bit of that like, okay, now we're to the weekend after the first week of school, some big feelings to work through. It hasn't been too bad, so I'm just curious to see how's this ultimately gonna go. But I'm calling the first week of school a win. I feel like the kids did great. Yeah, I'm happy with how it went. So second week of school coming up. They had Monday off for the holiday, and so they get this like extra long weekend, which they were both very, very happy about. And we'll start back tomorrow, and I'm gonna try to get to bed at a good time tonight again. I need some of these bigger ones. Okay. And yeah, so first impression's good, all that. Other things that happened this week. This is highly important. Starbucks dropped their pumpkin lineup. It's here. I had been stashing away some gift cards for some incredibly sweet friends, specifically for like over a month. Stashing these away, knowing that when pumpkin arrives at Starbucks, I am just going to want to go and get a pumpkin cream cold brew. And that's what I did. Was it Wednesday or Thursday that pumpkin officially released at Starbucks? And I was there, got my pumpkin cream cold brew. It was 95 degrees, 97 degrees outside, hotter than heck, but that's why I was glad it was a cold brew. And I was channeling my inner fall thoughts, and it was delicious. I also was so spoiled. I ended up being able to have a pumpkin drink 2 days in a row because the next day I actually met up with my friend Rachel and she insisted on buying me Starbucks that day. And so I had 2 days in a row pumpkin cream cold brew. I felt like I was living the high life. It was wonderful. She's so sweet. She's a very dear friend of mine that it's so nice to have like a local friend that is like just a long time, like gone through a lot of life together kind of friend. You've probably heard me mention her here before, but she threw her back out and had to take a couple of days off of work. So I went over and was one morning while the kids were at school and was helping her out with some stuff around the house because her husband was out of town all week. And so I came over and was helping her out with some stuff. Brought Scout over to do a little puppy play date with her dog. And then we went out and got Starbucks and did our little, like, let's just go browse home goods and do the thing where we throw a bunch of stuff in our cart to get that, like, feeling of, like, oh, yeah, we shopped. It was great. And then at the end, like, put 99% of it back and be like, I'm not getting any of this. It was fun to, like, window shop, but actually put the stuff in our cart. So we did that and just had a really nice visit and got to chat and hang out a bit. And yeah, I'm feeling like I just really want to be in the mood for fall, but it is so hard to get in the spirit of fall here because living in Southern California, our summer really seems to start in August and it goes through September, and we often have 90 to 100 degree days through the end of October. It's not my favorite at all. But I just, between like drills and chills and just it actually on the calendar being the fall season, I want to put up some fall decor. I want to be thinking fall thoughts, but my gosh, it is so hard to do when it's a million degrees outside. Makes me very grumpy, but I'm pretending between drills and chills and those pumpkin drinks. This week I did my best to get my brain in the fall spirit. So yeah, that was this week. Though Scout was not super interested in playing with their dog, which their dog Watson, we dog sat for these friends back in June. They were out of town for almost a week and we just had Watson at our house. He and Scout got along great. Like they were buddies, but then summer was very, very busy and we only had the chance to, I think, do one more puppy play date up until this past week. And I think it just enough time went by that the dogs didn't see each other. Plus the fact that we were letting them play like at Rachel's house. I just think they were both like, it's like we had to start back over. You know, it was like they both were like, wait, do I know you? Do I like you? How do I play with you? So we just were like, well, we'll just have to try to do some more maybe on the weekends and see if we can, I don't know. We'll get back to it. But yeah, speaking of Scout, I took him for a heartworm test because he's over 6 months of age and I was ready to get him his like flea tick heartworm med. But interestingly, when I called the vet's office about like scheduling him for the heartworm test because they wouldn't like otherwise fill a prescription that I had tried to like get through like Amazon for the meds. When I called to schedule it, they almost seemed surprised that I was calling to schedule this. And they were like, oh, like, do you guys go hiking a lot? Is he like out like in the wilderness a lot? Like they seemed so surprised I was calling about this that I thought, I asked, I was like, well, do you guys recommend doing heartworm treatment? And it was kind of like an inconclusive answer. And I was surprised because I usually expect a vet to play it very conservatively. And so the fact that they were kind of like, oh, you know, well, like if you want to kind of thing made me go, oh, let me research this, I guess, a little bit more, because they were very much like balls in your court about it. And so I thought, well, let me go. Like, no, we don't hike. He's just in our backyard a lot. So it seems like one of those things that is kind of regional. And, you know, dog experts, you are more than welcome to sound off in the comments on this one. But my understanding is that it is kind of regional, like how much of a risk heartworm is and if they even recommend treating your dog for it. And it just seems like what I'm reading and seeing is that here, if you're not like hiking, if he's really just outside when he's in our backyard, this is not really heartworm isn't really a concern. I'm like, I don't want to, obviously I don't want to take any risks with my dog, but if it's like no, even the vet is saying this probably isn't like necessary, like I'll save some money. Like I'd be fine with that. So I don't know. Dog experts, if you have opinions or thoughts, you won't offend me. I'm not trying to make a bad choice here. I would value your input, but that was that. He hadn't been to the vet in a couple months. Like his last checkup and like vaccines have been a couple months ago now. And he was really nervous about going in there. But as soon as one of the vet techs came up to him, it's like, you know, pick him up and take him back. He got all lovey and affectionate. It was very, very sweet. But I was like, oh, you're skittish about this, buddy. But no, he did okay. He did okay. I also, I ended up not doing a physical therapy appointment this past week because it was originally scheduled for the first day of school, and scheduled for, was that a bug? Sorry, a little moth just flew by over my head. The dog being in and out so much, we a lot of times we'll just get, the flies are really bad this year. Other little mosquitoes or moths sometimes come in in that 5 seconds the door is open. What was I saying? Physical therapy. My physical therapy was originally scheduled for the first day of school, and I would have had to leave 10 minutes after the kids got home. And I just decided, you know what? I think it'll be fine if I miss a week. I'll keep doing my exercises and stuff, of course, but let me not be disappearing on that first day of school right after school. But so yes, I have been trying to be consistent about doing my exercises. Skip loves to just sit, because I do them a lot of them on our bedroom floor because it's just easier with how flat it is and stuff. Skip likes to sit on the end of our bed, at the foot of our bed, and just look down at me and judge me what are you doing down there? And I'm just moving my arms this way and that. I'm I'm just trying to be a good patient. I really want my shoulder to heal up. I feel like I have noticed some definite improvements with my shoulder, but sometimes depending on, I don't know, how things are going, I'm noticing I'll have some, the other night after I did my exercises for the next 24 hours, I had a lot of pain in my elbow and in this spot in my hands. I'll bring it up when I'm at physical therapy this week, but I just was I hope that I'm not doing anything wrong. And so I'll obviously ask okay, this is what I'm feeling. Doesn't mean that I'm doing something wrong. I'm not trying to injure myself further here. But yeah, I'm glad that I'm seeing definitely some improvements with my shoulder, especially because I have been diamond painting a bit more with that cave dragon kit I'm really enjoying. And so it's kind of a relief that I haven't been noticing increased pain or anything in my shoulder with that. I'm also trying to be really good about and here, I'll do it now because we've been talking for almost an hour, you guys. This is your posture check. Okay, let's stretch your back up, open up your shoulders, stretch your arms back, and don't shrimp, don't hunch over. Make sure you're getting up and moving around. I feel more every 20 minutes is better than every hour. But drink your water, take your meds, take care of yourself today, okay? But yeah, posture check, get your body in a better alignment. Anyway, there could be a whole channel just for health and wellness when it comes to diamond painting and taking care of your body, but I'm not the expert that's going to be doing that. As far as what I've been reading and watching and listening to this week, I am going to co-opt the reading one for gaming again because I am still not moving forward with any progress with reading. It's gonna happen. Maybe not, the kids are back in school, maybe it'll happen, but I have been still working on playing Mass Effect 3, and it's such a different tone of game. I feel because it's taking place not post-apocalyptic, but almost apocalyptic, you're in space, you're fighting this war, it's this whole thing, tons of character development, character stories, it's just a bit of a heavier kind of mood, but it's also just the most beautifully, masterfully told story and character development in so many ways. I'm finding myself actively dreading though the part of the game that I'm in, because I know I'm coming up, I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but one of my favorite characters dies in this game, and at this point in this game, and there's really not like a way around it aside from like if you make a bunch of other really horrible stuff happen that I'm absolutely not going to do. And it's like this really poignant and like meaningful, like satisfying like conclusion to his character arc and stuff. But like I cried the first time I played this game in this character time. Look, I get really invested in fictional characters, okay? It's video games, books, TV shows. It was like, that's how good the storytelling is. And it was funny. I think I've probably told this story here before, but Adam also loves these games. And when Mass Effect 3 came out, we were both playing it, and I was getting further ahead faster than him because I was working like really part-time and closer to home. And so I was just squeezing in a lot of it because I was loving it so much. And I don't remember if it was I called him when this like moment in the story happened, or if he like came home and I'm just like sitting on the couch just like crying, because yes, I am that dramatic, but crying. And he's like, what happened? And I was like, I can't tell you, because I didn't want to spoil the game for him and spoil what was going to happen. And of course he could gather that like, oh, someone must have like, someone probably died or something, but I didn't tell him what it was. And then when he finally got to that part in the game, I was like, this was it. This is what had me in tears. He's like, yeah, I figured. Anyway, I know that moment is coming really soon, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. I just don't want it. But yeah, no, I know these games have been out for a long time, but if you're looking for a video game series to check out, I highly recommend it. It's just, especially if you love story and character like driven games, like these games are for you. So watching, what have I been watching? So Adam had me watch, we had like a trial of Apple TV that was about to expire, and he had watched this show on there called The Studio, and he was like, I just want you to watch like the first episode and the last couple episodes. I think you'd think it's really funny. It has like Seth Rogen and like Bryan Cranston and a bunch of other people, like Kathy Hahn and stuff. So it was, okay, wait, Catherine Hahn. Sorry, I was like, wait, is it Kathy? Catherine? Katie? One of those. My name is Katie. It just, I get it all mixed up. Anyway, it was really funny, especially just sort of having the appreciation for and understanding of like the movie industry in Hollywood that I do like through Adam. And so that was really funny. It wasn't like, I love this so much, I need to watch the whole rest of the show, which is, I think he knew, and that's why he had me just watch these handful of episodes. But no, it was pretty funny and over the top in a really entertaining way. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos lately that I've really enjoyed, that have been really just refreshingly honest in like the diamond painting world. There's a lot of diamond painting creators that I absolutely love. I think they are always genuine and authentic and kind and wonderful people. And so I'm not saying like, oh, there's a complete lack of this. But what I will say is that there were a couple of videos that just caught my attention a little bit more so because they just stuck out to me this past week. One was a video that Bev B did. So she's Bev B Diamond Paints, talking about like the things that we don't talk about when it comes to diamond painting and diamond painting YouTube. And I just thought it was a refreshing and like honest, but also like kind and also practical take on some of these things that you don't hear a lot of people talking about. So I really enjoyed that. And then Kat's diamond painting. Kat's in the UK. She's a sweetheart, and she did a video from like kind of celebrating hitting 5,000 subscribers, which she totally deserves. That's really exciting for her. And she did a video talking about like just things that she's learned and experienced from being on YouTube as like a diamond painting creator. And I just found myself nodding along to like about everything that she was saying. It was a really nice video to listen to. And I think she said she doesn't do a ton of WIP and Chats, but I was like, I would listen to her WIP and Chats all day. It was very like relaxing. And I liked her take on things too. So if you're wanting to hear some people that just talked about things that you don't hear a lot of people talking about, I would point you both to both those gals. And I'll do my best to remember to link to their videos below if you're interested. And then what I've been listening to, my kids are like as obsessed with K-pop Demon Hunters as I am, and are basically demanding that it's on in the car anytime we go anywhere. And often it's on the TV in the background. And Micah knows a lot of the words at this point. It's very cute. It's also very cute to hear him try to say like the parts of the songs that are in Korean. It's really cute. But but we're still loving it, not sick of it, genuinely. I've also been listening to as opposed to watching, even though I tend to pull them up on YouTube. I'm treating it like a podcast, and they have a podcast. And that's having more recently discovered the Swiftologist, who talks a lot about celebrity culture, and does a lot specifically on Taylor Swift, hence the name, but is not like a fawning fan. It's like talking about the good and the bad, and I just find myself like nodding along to a lot of what they're saying. And I think just all the fun news about Taylor Swift that has been like, it's one of those things where it's like there's a lot like of not wonderful stuff happening in the world right now, a lot of like bad news every time you turn on the TV. And there's just something that was very sweet, obviously in a parasocial way, but it was just like really sweet and joyful about like opening up the news and going like, oh, here isn't something that the world is on fire. It's like, no, look, Taylor and Travis are engaged. Like, how fun, how cute that is to like have something that's just joyful and happy. And like, I don't know, it was fun. It was sweet. So I think because that has been fresh on the brain, and probably stuff that, you know, is in my, probably because I watched like the New Heights thing podcast with her on YouTube. It's like, okay, let's push out some Taylor Swift content to this girl. The Swiftologist came across my feed and caught my eye enough that now I've been kind of going down a little bit of a rabbit hole of their content. So Taylor Swift fans, you probably are already well aware of this particular YouTube channel / podcast. I think what's their podcast names? The Evolution of a Snake or something, I think. Something along those lines. I don't remember. But yeah, just there's some content for you if you want some background noise. It doesn't require like watching. But yeah, that's that. Let me know what you've been reading and watching and listening to this week. And as far as what I have coming for you videos wise, this timing is perfect. I'm on my last color. This like lovely dark green fairy dust. Love it. I'm gonna have, well, week 1 of Drills and Chills videos we're planning to have go up on Saturdays. I think I'm gonna try to do a video on what's in my stash that would work for Drills and Chills. Like what am I thinking of working on for Drills and Chills? So thinking of doing that as my topic for week 1. I'll have a sneak peek from Diamond Art Club for a midweek thing, and I don't know if my sneak peek for the weekend may be late. It looks like it wasn't going to be in the warehouse until a little bit later, so I'm just crossing my fingers that it actually gets processed really quickly and shipped out, because it's one that I'm excited for. But it was kind of thing, it's like, if it's late, it's late. I don't care. I'm just going to be so stoked to have it whenever it does come in. So, but that is that. I need to do some post reviews too, because I got all my Elizabeth Ward containers taken up by kits I still need to do post reviews on. So maybe I'll actually get to one of those post reviews this week. But you guys, that is Kitting Up Autumn Treasures. I'm going to go pick out some matching accessories, take a start picture, fill out the entry form. No, I'm kidding. I don't enter for the prizes. The prize is hosting this event. The real Drills and Chills are the friends we made along the way. You guys, it's been a long day. I'm tired. I'm getting a little slap happy, a little delusional. I'm going to go call it a night. But if you made it all the way to the end of this video, why don't you put up I don't know if is there a mushroom? I know there's fall leaf emojis. Is there a mushroom emoji to go with this? That would be really cute. Or a black cat emoji. Something for this little cutie here. But I hope you're doing really well. Feel free to leave a comment if you would like, just letting me know how you're doing, what you were working on today. And feel free also to subscribe if you did enjoy this video. You might like it here. I do weekly WIP and Chats, usually on Mondays. This was the exception where I needed to bump this video to Tuesday, but I have a playlist of all my past WIP and Chats. If you want some company and just want to put that on and let it roll, that is there, and that'll be linked below too. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you are doing very, very well. Have a day and a week that is as wonderful as you are. I will talk to you again soon. Bye.